Sometimes I will, then again I think I won't. Sometimes I will, then again I think I won't. Sometimes I do, then again I think I don't. Well, I looked at my watch, it was 9:21. Was at a rock and roll dance, having nothing but fun. We rolled, reeling and rocking. We was reeling and rockin', rolling till the break of dawn. Hello folks, in this tutorial I'm going to teach how I play Chuck Berry's song Reelin and Rockin. Like a lot of Chuck's songs, it's played using a 12-bar blues chord progression, so there are just 3 chords in it. Chuck played it in the key of G, which is a little bit high for my singing range, so I transpose it down to E, which is a great key for rock and roll on the guitar. In Chuck's original 1958 recording, he sang 11 verses, so that's 11 times around the 12-bar blues chord progression, but the verses are quite quick. He didn't play one of his distinctive guitar solos. I'm going to show you how to play the intro. The riffs I play along with the A, E and B chords. The run I play between the E and A chords, the walk-up run, like that, and the outro. So first of all, let's have a look at the intro. The intro in Reelin and Rockin is a bit unusual. In Chuck's original key of G, he played it like this. You play a G power chord by putting your first finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string and your 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string. Play those 2 notes together and you slide up to that position from 1 fret down, like that. And you do that 4 times at the beginning of 4 bars, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. This intro is quite useful if you're playing along with other musicians in a band, say, because it takes the place of a count-in, because it indicates the tempo of the song and where the song's about to start proper, like this. As you can hear, G is a little bit high for my singing range, so I transpose the song down to E. That intro lick in E sounds like this. What I'm doing is, I'm putting my first finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th and 4th strings and playing the open 6th string. I'm playing those 3 bass strings together. It's the bottom of an E chord really, isn't it? And I'm sliding up to that position from 1 fret down like we did before. Sometimes I will, then again I think I won't. The song uses this chord progression. There are 4 bars of E, followed by 2 bars of A. We come back to the E for 2 bars. There are 2 bars of B, or B7. You have 1 bar of E, and you finish off by going to the B7 again for 1 bar. When you go back to the B7 like that at the end of the chord progression, it's called a turnaround, because it seems to indicate to the listener that the chord progression is about to turn around and start all over again. Of course, you wouldn't play that at the very end of the song. You could play Reelin and Rockin using plain open chords like this. Sometimes I will, then again I think I won't. Sometimes I will, then again I think I won't. Sometimes I do, then again I think I don't. Well, I looked at my watch, it was 9:21. We was at a rock and roll dance, having nothing but fun. It sounds a bit rockabilly that way, doesn't it? I'm playing a plain E chord, my version of an open A chord, and whenever there's a B, I play a B7 there. And I'm using a train rhythm with a swing feel to it. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down on the beats, up between the beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm hitting the strings a little bit harder on the back beat, beats 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the strumming pattern that I use however I play this song. When I usually play this song, I don't use plain open chords, but I use rock and roll riffs that are played on the bass strings. Like this. I teach how to play the E and the A riffs in my tutorial number 1, so if you want to have a look at that and get an in-depth view of this sort of playing, then by all means do that, but I'll run through it again here quickly anyway. To play the riff that I play along with the E chord, I put my first finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th and the 4th string and play the open 6th string, so just like we did with the intro. And on beats 2 and 4 in the bar, I put my 3rd finger down on the 4th fret of the 5th string, like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I put my finger down on that 4th fret and I lift it off immediately afterwards. When you put that 3rd finger down, you'll find that you'll probably touch the 4th string and mute it, but that's fine. So that's how you play the riff that goes along with the E chord. To play the riff that goes along with the A chord, you simply move that over 1 string, like this. So you have your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th and the 3rd string, and you play the open 5th string. Mute the 6th string with your thumb. Play like that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. To play the riff that goes along with the B chord, I go up there to the 7th fret and play this Chuck Berry style rock and roll riff. So I'm putting my 1st finger on the 7th fret of the 6th string, my 3rd finger on the 9th fret of the 5th string, play those 2 notes together, and on beats 2 and 4 in the bar, I'm dropping my 4th finger, my little finger, down onto the 11th fret on the 5th string. And as before, I'm lifting it off immediately after I've played that note. I teach how to play that Chuck Berry style riff in some detail in my tutorial number 2, so have a look at that if you want to. The first verse of Reelin and Rockin is different to all the other verses in that you play the 12-bar blues all the way through without any stops. There are stops in all the other verses. It sounds like this. Sometimes I will, then again I think I won't. Sometimes I will, then again I think I won't. Sometimes I do, then again I think I don't. And then you're into the second verse. Let's have a closer look at that turnaround though, because it's not as straightforward as it might seem. I'm not simply playing a B7 on all the beats in that final bar. The first beat in that final bar of the chord progression is on the E chord. It's like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up. So the first time you play that B7 chord is on the upstroke after the downstroke on the first beat. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and. So it's on the and in between beats 1 and 2. And I'm playing this rhythm. Up, down, up, down, up. So here it is in context. Like that. Okay? And then you're into the second verse, the first one of those verses that has the times in it. Well, I looked at my watch, it was 9:21, was at a rock and roll dance, having nothing but fun, and we rolled. So I played a little walk-up lick there, didn't I? You're walking up between the E chord and the A chord. You could play that just on the 6th string like this. So I'm playing the open 6th string, put my first finger on the 2nd fret of the 6th string, my 2nd finger on the 3rd fret, and my 3rd finger on the 4th fret. And then you're onto the A chord. But what I do to give that walk up a bit more oomph is I add notes on the 5th string. So I play it with power chords essentially. So I'm playing the open 6th string, and I have my first finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. Then I put my first finger on the 2nd fret of the 6th string and put my 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 5th string. So that's an F sharp power chord. Then I move that up 1 semitone and 1 more. And then you're on to the A chord. So that's. So you could play it with just down strokes, but sometimes I strum it up and down like this. Carl Perkins liked to play walk-up runs like that in his songs. You can hear them in Blue Suede Shoes and Bop in the Blues. So that just leaves the outro to explain. It sounds like this. It runs through the 11th and 12th bars of the final time around the 12-bar blues. What I'm doing is playing this shape. I put my first finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and my 2nd finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. I'm playing those two notes together plus the open 1st string. So I'm playing the top 3 strings. I move that shape down 1 fret, and then I move it down 1 more fret, and then I finish on an open E chord. The rhythm I'm playing is this. At the very beginning of that 11th bar, I very quickly play the bottom of an E chord like this. Did you hear that? There's just a bit of an E on the very first beat. So there's the outro. Now I'm going to play the whole song all the way through so that you can play it along with me. Although I said that the intro works like a count-in, I'm going to give a count-in so that you can play the intro along with me as well. So here goes. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Sometimes I will and again I think I won't. Sometimes I will and again I think I won't. Sometimes I do, then again I think I don't. Well, I looked at my watch, it was 9:21. We was at a rock and roll dance, having nothing but fun on the road. Reelin and rockin'. We was reelin' and rockin', rolling till the break of dawn. Well, I looked at my watch, it was 9:32. There's nothing I'd rather do than dance with you when we roll. Reelin' and rockin'. We was reelin' and rockin', rolling till the break of dawn. Well, I looked at my watch, it was 9:43, and every time I spin, she spins with me and we roll. Reelin' and rockin'. We was reelin' and rockin', rolling till the break of dawn. Well, I looked at my watch, it was 9:54. I said, dance ballerina, go, 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 we roll. Reelin' and rockin'. We was reelin' and rockin', rolling till the break of dawn. Well, I looked at my watch and it was 10:05. Man, I didn't know if I was dead or alive, and we roll. Reelin' and rockin'. We was reelin' and rockin', rolling till the break of dawn. Well, I looked at my watch and it was 10:26, but I'ma keep on dancing till I get my kicks, and we roll. Reelin' and rockin'. We was reelin' and rockin', rolling till the my watch, it was 10:28. I gotta get my kicks for it gets too late. We're old, reelin' and rockin'. We was reelin' and rockin', rollin' till the break of dawn. Well, I looked at my watch, it was 10:29. I had to hold my hand, she's still holding mine. We rolled, reelin' and rockin'. We was reelin' and rockin', rollin' till the break of dawn. Well, I looked at my watch and to my surprise, I was dancing with a woman that was twice my size. We rolled, reelin' and rockin'. We was reelin' and rockin', rollin' till the break of dawn. That's first. Well, I looked at my watch and it was time to go. The band leader said we ain't playing no more. We rolled, reelin' and rockin'. We was reelin' and rockin', rollin' till the break of dawn. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you found that useful. Let me know if you have any queries in the comments.